The next interview with me, Jim Fox, and you're the Vice President for Sweden Operations and the head of the site here in Södertälje at AstraZeneca. And nice titles, but exactly what does that mean? What do you do at your day job?
Good point. I have the privilege of running the Södertälje campus. We have almost 5,000 people there. So I guess I'm the landlord of a multifunctional site. But my specific role is to run the manufacturing and supply operations for Sweden. So, we're considered a region, and we have 7 production sites where we make and supply medicinal products.
And you're a fairly new face to AstraZeneca and to Södertälje. I'm not new to the industry. You worked 24 years in the life science and pharma industry, but the last year with AstraZeneca. What made you come here?
To Sweden or to
AstraZeneca? What was the offer that you couldn't refuse?
The offer I couldn't refuse was I've been fortunate to work all around the world, but I'd never worked in Scandinavia, and I'd heard a lot about the culture of innovation and the academic integration, and it was one of the parts of the world that I wanted to live and work in. So that was the first thing, and I was extremely impressed with where AstraZeneca were going with their vision and mission, and I wanted to be part of it.
So now that you've been with the company for a year and you've been here in Södertälje, what's your first impressions this year?
First impressions, fantastic place to work. I'm really impressed with the people that we have. Our strap line that we've sort of visioned for the future is, you can trust us because we have great people, and I genuinely believe that, and that's from the shop floor through to my leadership team. And there's a special sauce with these folk that I hadn't quite realized before I came to Sweden.
So can you describe that? I mean, being a person grown up in Sweden, it may be hard to understand it yourself when you're living in that. Could you give an outside perspective? What's the uniqueness?
I have to be careful I'm not too general here, but I think the academic base is really strong. So no matter which part of the organization, we're having good conversations based on, I think quite a strong academic background, or at least, a knowledgeable background. So the workforce is pretty intelligent, I believe. I also like the way that, although, from an exterior point of view, the culture seems fairly calm and relaxed. But what I love is underneath that is a very competitive culture. So, it's very easy to encourage people, motivate people, and you get an immediate response, and that is fantastic.
So what are the big challenges you're sort of facing in your job?
So Södertälje and AstraZeneca operations have been super successful over the last years. It's a real jewel in the crown in the global network. But of course, you just can't rest on what's been good in the past. You've got to look forward. So we're working on a 10-year vision, and basically trying to work back from that vision to make sure that we remain current and relevant going forward. So obviously the big plays are skill sets for the future, digital, data analytics, manufacturing technology, and making sure more than anything we have a good product pipeline coming through to our campus.
And I know when you talk about, and it's been mentioned 10 years ago, the company decided to close down the research facilities here, and now it's been shifted over and almost described by the minister before as a success story, with more jobs coming into manufacturing. Sometimes it seems like manufacturing is not seen as sort of important or glorified as research. Although I know that building factories when it comes to the pharma industry is something very unique in terms of regulations, etc. Could you describe something about the investment a company like AstraZeneca is doing in the region when you decide where to open up a new factory or develop the site?
Yeah, sure. So we're one of 26 locations around the world for AstraZeneca. So first and foremost, we got to remain competitive. You can measure competitiveness on a number of KPIs. But I think the thing that really differentiates us from the rest of the network here in Sweden is our ability to develop with R&D the new products and launch them quickly and effectively. So that is definitely our niche. And as the product portfolio moves more to an oncology immunology base, speed to market is even more important, and I think that's where our real niche lies.
So having said that, the close collaboration with research partners in Mölndal, Gothenburg,
Yep.
among others, is essential.
It's key. It's vital. They are one of 3 R&D centers globally, and what we can do in partnership with those guys to bring the products forward, and the investment you talk about. I'm always looking to modernize our buildings. The technology to make our products needs to move with the times, and we've got a very exciting future in the next 5 to 10 years.
So in terms of that digitalization of the industry, what does that mean? What do you need to invest in?
So what we're really trying to do is make sure that information is current, real time, and available, so we can be much more predictive on our operations performance, but also we can coordinate that at a more sort of central level. So having information that we can convert into knowledge that can help us improve our day-to-day performance is so key. And I'm so pleased to be co-located with a company like Scania and with the KTH University, because that just makes, again, the magic ingredients to bring it all together.
So being close to the university, I could understand, I mean, being a research-based organization, even in manufacturing. But what's the point for AstraZeneca to be close to Scania, building trucks and
so first and foremost, there's no competition. We make medicinal products. Scania make vehicles. So there's no intellectual property we need to be worried about. And we both want to be the best we possibly can at launching new products and being super competitive in the way we make and supply to the marketplace. And of course, some of the business we supply here in Sweden, but a lot of our business we export globally. So, comparing knowledge on supply chain management, production management, maintenance and efficiency, they're all things that we can have a really great collaboration on.
Yeah. So your colleague Nina Andrén that we had on stage before, she talked a bit about the work you're doing in the sustainability area, and I think we should just spend a minute or two here towards the end of the interview. Could you elaborate a bit more about that, because that's also an investment area that you need to care about?
So first and foremost, we have a fantastic CEO who's made an investment pledge of $1 billion worldwide over the next 10 years. So we have funding opportunities. And when you then translate that back down into Sweden and Södertälje, we're focusing on reducing the emission of greenhouse gases. And Nina talked about solvent recovery. That was, that's a super good story. Energy reduction has been fantastic on the site. We consume a lot of energy, but we buy everything from a renewable source. So we're 100% renewable sourced energy from Södertälje and Gothenburg, in fact. The waste disposal part of what we do is going to be the next really big push. So this circular economy, and already we're starting to recycle heat and waste byproducts into something much more useful.
And it seems like that way you're also saving money. You're not just saving the planet, but there's also a financial part, not just the cost to do it. Does that equal out, or what?
It's got to be a win-win. So good for the planet and good for business. And you know what? There's a really good synergy in these two. But in Södertälje, we have reduced our carbon footprint or carbon emissions by 92% since 2015. That is most of it before my time, but I'm super proud to be associated with that.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much for being with us here today, and it's time to continue with the next guest.
No problem. Thanks, Thomas.
Så vi ska då gå över och välkomna Katarina Modahl Nilsson som är Chief Technology Officer på Traton.